I love the language of Scripture. Today, two key words, weaklings and warriors. Joel chapter 3. First of all, the whole book of Joel is just despairing. There's all different kinds of locusts just taking Israel's lunch, kicking their cans, taking names. It's just rough. In fact, in a couple portions, it not only talks about the locusts stealing everything they have, but it literally names 4 different specific kinds of locusts. It's like, you know what? When you're having your lunch money stolen, it doesn't matter who it is or what they look like or what kind of thief they are. The fact is, life is rough and getting rougher. And that's what it was. Then, chapter 3, God says, verse number 9, he says, "Say to the nations far and wide, get ready for war. Call out your best warriors. Let all the fighting men advance for the attack." Now, all of these foreign nations are the ones that have been taking Israel's lunch money. And basically, there's a turn in the soundtrack, if you will. This is Rocky getting beat up in the corner of the ring. Smack, smack, smack. His legs are getting rubbery. He can't even barely hold himself up anymore. And then there's that subtle yet very real switch in the music where it just starts building just a little bit. This is God saying to all those nations that were beating the junk out of Rocky, saying, all right, get ready, because it's on. It's on. Verse number 10, he tells Israel, hammer your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Take all of your tools that you've been using for survival and just to eat and sustain yourself and turn them into weapons of war, training even your weaklings to be warriors. So take these tools for farming and turn them into weapons. Verse 11, come quickly, all you nations. Come on, all you nations. Come from everywhere. Gather together in the valley. And now the Lord calls out your warriors. So here it is. What are you? Are you a weakling? Are you a warrior? I know what I naturally feel like. That would be more in the weakling category. But when God calls us to take our hammer our plowshares into swords, let's go. Take our pruning hooks and turn them into spears, let's go. But that's the easy part. When he looks at us and says, hey, weakling, it's time to be a warrior. I can't do that. But when God says, weakling, it's time to be a warrior, guess what? It's time to be who he says we are. Today is a day for you to be who he says you are, not who life has relegated you to, who the locusts have reduced you to, who the foreign nations have beat you up one side and down the other to be. Weaklings, let's rise up and let's be the warriors that God has called us to be. It's time to rise up and be who our God says we are.